The nature of addiction has changed in the last 20 years. It used to be all about substances, and it's now about behaviors as well. And a lot of those are driven by technology. I think there are huge benefits and many benefits of living in a tech-driven world. For me, for example, communication is the biggest one. It basically shrinks the distance between people, no matter where they are on Earth. That's huge. So I have family a long way away, and I can talk to them and it almost feels like they're in the same room, and they can meet my young son. That's a huge benefit of tech. Just as tech brings us closer together, it has the capacity to drive us apart as well. In young kids, there's a phenomenon known as parallel play, where they'll sit in the same room and play with their own toys without looking at each other or interacting. And that actually now is a thing that happens with adults as well. We could all sit, 10 of us in a room with our own devices, be in our own worlds and never interact, and I think that's a potential cost. People are still addicted to substances, and substances are very, very dangerous, but they affect a very small part of the population. By some estimates, over half the population is addicted to some behavior, and that behavior generally is driven by tech and very often by screens. So it's interacting with tech products that for a lot of people today, for say half of us, is very, very hard for us to resist. Instagram and Hipstamatic are at their core basically very similar. They're designed to do the same thing. They're designed to take photos that are taken on an iPhone and turn them into better, jazzed up photos using filters and retro, making them look retro. So they both do basically the same thing, but there was a big decision that they made when they were in their infancy. So Hipstamatic, the founders decided over a conversation that it wasn't worth creating their own special social network tethered to Hipstamatic. They were going to focus really just on the photos. They were purists. In Instagram's case, they made the opposite decision. So the founders of Instagram decided that we should build our own social network that's tethered to Instagram, which we now know as just part of the way you do Instagram. And what that did was it meant that you'd always have feedback from other people. And that made Instagram really addictive, and it meant that Hipstamatic fell by the wayside to some extent. So we can't go cold turkey on tech. That's never going to happen, and I don't think it should happen because there are many, many benefits of tech. What people really should do though is they should work out where to cut the line or draw the line between the tech part of the day and the non-tech part of the day. It's the single biggest thing we can do as individuals. So for example, you could say that between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. you will not engage with the screen. No TV, you'll interact with other people, you won't use phones, you'll be outside, you'll do something that just doesn't involve screens. And that's a conscious decision we need to make ahead of time, because otherwise tech invades our lives and there's just no way to say this is where I'm drawing the line. You need to be mindful about it.